Hello and welcome. This is the part 2 of interview with a witch. I hope you enjoyed part 1. If you didn't see part 1, go ahead and try to find part 1. I think last time we ended on question 8. If we didn't end on question 8 and I'm skipping it, I do apologize, but I would like to move on a little bit. Okay, so question 9 is, how many types of magic exist? Okay, there is only one type of magic. Magic is the manipulation of energy to suit a specific purpose. That purpose could be anything that you need. It can be healing, it can be the acquisition of money, it could be finding partnerships, for instance, love relationships, friendships, calling together a new circle or a new coven. Anything you can think of, really. So there is only one type of magic, just like there is only one species. There is the human, only one race. There's the human race. We have several different categories in that. I'm not a biologist, so I'm pretty sure that I'm getting those words mixed up. But there are different modalities to practice that magic, to utilize that magic. Think of it as being in front of a row of ladders. One ladder is white, one ladder is purple, one ladder is blue. Some of the ladders have rungs that are very, very close together. Some have huge rungs that you could barely lift your foot to get up, but maybe you are the person that likes the challenge of getting your foot up there. Or you have really strong muscles and your favorite thing to do is exercise them. So the different colors of ladders are the different modalities of magic. Anything that you feel more comfortable pursuing. So there is, kitchen witchery. There is nocturnal magic. There is, there's countless others. I can't even remember off the top of my head most of them. So if you're asking me to quantify how many different modalities of magic there are, I can't. Because one of the liberties of being Wiccan is that you can choose what feels right for you, what fits for you. So if a Buddhist meditation is less effective for you than a Catholic type prayer, use the prayer. There's nothing stopping you. The only thing that is between you and the energy of the universe is, your heart and your mind. Okay, number 10. Did Wicca work for you the first time you tried it? Or was there a lot of practicing to do? Here, I think it's a little confused between the idea of Wicca as a religion and the application of magic. A lot of people get that confused, especially when you start looking into Wicca, witchcraft, magic for the first time. I think I said it in the first part of the video, that Wicca is first and foremost a religion. You do not need to practice magic in order to practice Wicca. It is a nature-based religion, nature-worshipping religion. So if the question is my magic skills, if it worked the first time I tried it, actually it was better the first time I tried it. A lot of that has to do with the innocence of it. It's like the innocence of a child, or the innocence of somebody that tries a game for the first time. That saying, beginner's luck. There is nothing stopping you. There's no barriers in front of you the first time you do it, because you haven't put up the barriers, or nobody around you has put up the barriers. The first barrier that was put up against me, unfortunately, came from a teacher, my sister's teacher, where my sister started talking about me doing magic and stuff like that, and all of a sudden the teacher was very irate, that is evil, that's the devil's work, even though public school teachers aren't supposed to be getting into those types of things. I was too young, of course, to make an issue about it, but it does make you start questioning yourself, and then there's that very question, what if it doesn't work? What if I need more practice? What does it mean if it doesn't work? And those are all barriers upon barriers upon barriers, and the energy that you use when you are practicing magic is very fluid. It's like water. It'll travel through the path of least resistance. So if you have resistance in front of you, sometimes the energy just can't get to where it needs to go. It ends up evaporating, getting caught, in front of those barriers. So what happens when a witch goes through her mid-witch crisis, so to speak, is that he finds that it's very difficult to perform any type of magic with any type of success. And you have to really take a step back and start eliminating some of the barriers that you have put up in front of yourself. Okay, so number 11. What was the weirdest thing that ever happened to you while practicing any type of magic? Weird. I don't know really what weird means. I'm too weird to know what weird means. But one of the most striking, I guess, things that ever happened to me was during one of my first rituals. It was a ritual for Halloween, and during part of the ritual, I cutting a pomegranate as a sympathetic sacrifice that the god makes at that time, and the juice that comes out of the pomegranate represents the blood that comes out of the human heart, and yeah, it wasn't juice, it was blood. And that startled me out of my space for a moment, and everything changed back to normal, and I don't think I've ever had quite a striking occurrence since then. But that also goes back to what I was saying, is that you put up barriers for yourself, as you go along. The first time you do it, everything is easy. Everything comes to you. It's like a drug. Okay. Number 12. What was the best thing that ever happened to you while practicing any type of magic? I found my witch mate. I was sending out a spell for companionship, trying to keep it as open as possible, because especially when you're dealing with love magic, there is a lot of sticky moral issues that come about, especially around bending people against their will. It's kind of a big no-no in Wicca. So in the back of my mind, I was thinking lover, but what came about it was a lot better, and I found myself a Wiccan sister, and I love her, and I will always love her to death, to my end of days, whether or not we stay in contact physically. So number 13. Do you know where or when Wicca started? Yeah, okay. So there's a man named Gerald Garner. I don't remember the year exactly, 50s, 60s, somewhere around there. And he was an occultist, an occult historian, basically. And what he managed to do was what nobody else had managed to do before him, is research all of these different spiritualities, nature-based spiritualities, and stitch them together and make them cohesive. In order to do that, however, he did have to fudge a few things in order to gain some credence. He told people that these were unchanged rituals and spells from generations of British witches, which was not true. He created a book. I don't remember the name of that book, but he created it basically as the first book of shadows for Wicca, and again claimed it was authentic, hundreds and hundreds of years old. A book which it was not. A lot of it was supplemented by Doreen Valiente, who is what we call the mother of Wicca. She brought a lot of spirit, heart, poetry into what Gardner had started. And actually she softened it very much so, because some of what he initially put out was slightly sexist. Ironically, since Wicca got a large boost from the feminist movement. For instance, you couldn't have an older woman lead a coven. It had to be a younger woman. Once a woman reached a certain age, she was required to step down and give her position to somebody younger, in the circle. The idea of sky-clad worship has been doctored. This is my personal opinion. Sky-clad worship has been doctored over the years to become something that is very super spiritual, that you need to shed all the clothing, all the outer signs of difference in order to more effectively reach God. But I believe from the different accounts of Gardner's nature that it was more about not judging, not segregating, but trying to keep a very strict order to the circle. If you were not willing to take your clothes off, you weren't part of it. That was it. And so that's where it started, was with Gerald Gardner and Doreen Valiente, and the history is very rich and very complicated, and I'm afraid I didn't really do it too good justice, in that short little vlog. Okay, so we are ending right now on question 14, and I will see you again in Interview with a Witch, Part 3.